Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining me for this types of marketing series. So today is our finale episode. It's been great series. I feel we let me just take you through because it is basically we've had like 14 episodes on the different types of marketing. Then yesterday also we had one Q&A session with Rebecca, one of the person I've done a lot of collabs with, and today also I will be introducing to a new guest for the same, a special guest for the same. So in my series, basically, I covered the types of different as a marketer, what you have to be aware of. The different the types of marketing in terms of they are evolving as per the platforms, tools, and ways you can reach the audience. So I had covered, I would say, I'll just take you through that. So, firstly, I had covered about email marketing. Then we had word of mouth marketing, then event marketing, outdoor marketing. Then we had an episode on SEO. Then we did content marketing, branding, social media marketing, which contained like also about about community marketing. We had public relations, we had performance marketing, partnership marketing, relationship marketing, marketing automation, how it's done, and the tools, and marketing reporting. So all in all, like if you go through, you can follow me on LinkedIn, you can see these particular episodes. You can get an idea, basically, like if you are even new in marketing, these are all because I've covered not only the meanings but actually in terms of an executable strategy of how you have to go about those particular things. So as a marketer, you have to have these different types of marketing within your worksheets and all, and just see how much of activities for every. So for email marketing, say how many emails you're sending. SEO, what backlinks, what content marketing, what kind of content is created. So for everything there, you have to kind of if you aspire to be the head of marketing, or you have your own company, so you're handling your own marketing yourself. That is something which will put you on the right foot. Like this is what I have used as per my experience, and I'm kind of sharing the same. So awesome. So let us now start this particular interesting session. This will be more on the future, like Web 3.0, and certain things, digital aspects for the content creators, that are the tech aspects. We'll be covering few in this particular episode. So let me bring on a very special guest for the same. It's Ishwari Wani. Hi Ishwari, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Nikhil. Thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm also doing great. So, Ishwari, if you could introduce yourself to the audience.
Sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Ishwari Wani. I'm currently a fourth year undergraduate at IIT Kharagpur with a special passion for marketing and finance, and I have extensive experience in partnerships as well.
That's great. Also, in terms of when I read about in a profile, I saw obviously you had a finance blog as well as certain in terms of your knowledge in Web 3.0 also. So you could a little bit talk about that.
Right. So actually, the blog is something that I started with a peer of mine at IIT Kharagpur only in February 2021. So back then, I was really confused about what exactly I wanted to do with my career. There are like so many opportunities and so many industries out there, and it was just really tough to make a decision. So we came up with this idea that while we are exploring, different industries and different profiles, how about we turn our notes into a blog? So that's how the blog came into place, and it's just like random topics, and we talk about marketing, finance, strategy, sales, general business situation, problems, anything of that sort, from a very candid, from a very amateur's point of view, so that it's easy for people to understand. How I got into Web3 is actually very interesting. So, a few of my alumni from IIT Kharagpur, they invited me to join their founding team at a startup, and that's how I entered the Web3 ecosystem. And honestly, it was really fascinating. It was really amazing to even look at futuristic technologies, or see how the internet is going to evolve, or how cryptocurrency or the way that we make transactions, all of those things are going to evolve. So I had about 8 to 10 months of experience in Web3 so far. So yeah, that's the story.
That's right. Also, another thing about like startups, I read that certain work you have done a little bit. If you would like to share about that.
Right. So last year, for 3 months, I was actually working at Startup India, which comes under the government of India's initiative, Invest India. So what they basically do is we make different startup pools. We organize events. We collaborate with embassies, Indian embassies all around the world to secure funding or market access or collaboration opportunities all over the world. So that's another place where I got to see the other side of startups, like what their struggles actually are, how much they have to, the kind of work they have to put in to get recognized as a startup in the first place, incorporation, and various rounds of fundings, finding like a product market fit, or even like a market strategy to enter a very different, very nuanced market in general. So, and then immediately after that, I started working at a startup myself. So I think I've seen both sides of the story now.
That's right. What do you feel like going forward in startups? Do you think now with Web 3.0, what like kind of startups will be going forward? Like anything you can give us an idea?
So honestly, Web 3.0 is going to open so many doors. It's such a huge opportunity for so many different companies, right? From apparel, lifestyle to tech or SaaS companies. So it's going to open a lot of doors for sure. Web3 as of now in India is kind of a very dicey topic because we still haven't gotten our policies straight regarding where India as a country stands with Web3. So it's difficult to say at the moment, but definitely I think we can look at a lot of Web3 and tech unicorns coming up in the future.
That's right. That's great. So I think we will start the session with the questions. As I mentioned to the audience, there were a lot of Web 3.0 questions, and as creators, what you can do with the different tech available and the changes on the social media platforms. But the first thing, very important question that we'll start with is account-based marketing. B2B marketing is kind of getting more specific towards a particular person that you are doing it. You have to target it. So this kind of come under the term of account-based marketing. So to talk about how this works and the process for the same, I'll go to Ishwari.
All right. So let me start off by explaining what exactly is account-based marketing. So in extremely simple language, what account-based marketing basically does is that it targets a select group of accounts that represents your clients that bring in the most significant sales for you. So they have to offer like higher expansion or higher growth opportunities. So what B2B companies usually do is that they pick up a handful of their most valued clients, and they focus their marketing efforts specifically tailored towards them. So a very easy way of understanding this is with a very simple principle of economics, which is the Pareto's rule, the 80-20 rule, which states that 80% of your revenue is just generated by 20% of your efforts or 20% of your clients. So if you put it in the right directions, they do have the capability to add in the 80% value. So account-based marketing can be split up into three parts, starting with the first one, which is one-to-one marketing. So what's special about one-to-one marketing is it's not just personalized, it is extremely personal. So it focuses on building one-on-one relationships with your high value clients, and everything from creating like personas to conducting user research. And what we can do is we can gather all of this data to produce more relevant, hyper targeted messaging to convert these clients or accounts. Having said that, this should only be done by companies who have a really huge budget, who have the bandwidth to take on these kind of efforts. So usually it's suggested for established companies with a flexible budget, and also it should be done if you're targeting a specific client or a specific account. The second type of ABM marketing is one to few. One to few is done by a significant number of brands. It basically implies that instead of building a personal connection, one-on-one connection with individuals or with accounts or with clients, what we do is we take up a handful of companies and we segment them into different groups and we target them and we base our marketing efforts on these groups that we have now found. So this again involves your high value existing clients and again companies with a relatively flexible budget who have the time and tools to cater to this sort of audience should take up this kind of marketing. And the last one is one to many. One to many is probably the most common account based marketing. So, in this, you take a significantly larger chunk of clients or significantly larger chunk of accounts using programmatic ABM, and you segregate them from your regular audience. And it still has like personalization at its core, but requires relatively much less resources.
That's right. So Ishwari, you can maybe account-based marketing in terms of, for say if you're a freelancer and you are targeting the large accounts, how can that be used for you? So we'll like not talk more in the sales aspect, but like say the marketing aspect for the same.
So, in the marketing aspect, if I were to use account based marketing as a freelancer, freelancing is something that has been a part of my professional journey. So, from my experience, when I want big brands or bigger accounts or bigger clients or just important people in the industry to notice me, what I will do is I will personalize my efforts. So, let's say if I'm a blogger or if I'm someone who has a newsletter, I could maybe come up with a special edition specifically for this group of individuals or this group of accounts. Or I could send them a very personalized email with their name and their details in it, or talk about a little bit of their background so they know that I have looked into them as well, so that they know that I'm sincere and interested. And yeah, I would focus on targeted email marketing because I think that's the easiest way for a freelancer to go about. So again, doesn't really require as much resources, does require a little bit of effort to look into who these people are and finding out a little bit more about their backgrounds, seeing if you fit into what they require, and more on those lines.
That's right. My suggestion also would be to, not have like obviously have a set of you can say you filter it out like your as per the size of the company or their services you're offering or something. Kind of don't have to like it's like you shouldn't like shoot in the dark, as a freelancer. So
Right,
if you kind of do that, so not only with your content, even your direct sales approach, if you kind of put in that these are say 100 accounts or 100 companies I'm pursuing, so that I get some business through them, that's better, because then it's like that will be noticed, like say even if you are liking the content on social media, or you comment about something, or on their feed or something like that. So that's becomes
right,
more this thing, right? And you obviously, even the messaging, if it's more personalized, where you are talking about something that they have done in terms of their achievements, or something that could be a gap where you can fill in very specifically. So that is where I think you can base it. So that's the thing, like, don't spread yourself through too thin in that. Have a like a focus, a group of people that you want to
absolutely,
market to.
yeah.
And in terms of, I think, segmentation in such a case can really work out well, and then designing your content and maybe your messaging also as per that segmentation. Awesome. So let's go to the Web 3.0 questions. So the first thing is, going forward, maybe like you mentioned, Ishwari, maybe it's not an immediate thing, but how will this affect? Because obviously the social media, if we talk about the major companies, they are based in the US, and also there it's going to come up quickly. Whatever changes are also happening, that will be felt in other parts of the world. So but how will this thing kind of change? Because social media is linked to so much of what we do, our communication, our businesses and all. So what are the major like changes that will take place that we have to adapt to?
Right. So let's start with a short explanation of what exactly Web3 is and how has it evolved from web, like Web 1.0. So basically, Web 1.0 was when we could just go onto websites and read content online. Then Web 2 happened in the early 2000s and continued till 2010. In Web 2.0, social media was a big factor. Like I think around 2005 or 7, Facebook started getting really popular, and that's where the whole social media journey started. So people can, FaceTime, they can video call, they can interact with people on the other side of the globe. So that was a huge evolution of the web. And now, post, I'd say 2010 or rather 2015, Web3 started coming into the picture. So what Web3 basically means is that it has decentralization at its heart. It does not believe in letting a third party have any access to your data. You can interact with any party you want anywhere across the world, one on one, peer to peer, and there's no mediation in Web3 basically. So that's how the evolution of the internet looks like. We are trying to remove the middleman basically.
That's right. And do you think because of this, the in Web 3.0, it'll be easier to connect with people in a same, like say a group or interest, with these certain maybe some tech aspects of Web 3.0 that are there. Do you think it'll be kind of, that is what we are going towards, like where like for example when Mark Zuckerberg, he had talked about that he's working within the algorithm for Instagram, where people within your location, if they are talking something similar to your interests that you see, then you'll be suggested. But earlier you couldn't be, because you had to reach a certain popularity threshold to connect with. So do you think, what kind of, you think tech changes could be there that then will assist the common man to also be a part of, on through the internet basically?
Got it. So, very interesting question. So, Web3 will definitely take connectivity to another level, because now that you don't have a third party, interference or a mediation, you can directly talk to the people that you're interested in on a one-on-one basis. Web3 also has AI at its core. So, we are talking about a lot of like machine interpretable data. So AI has made it actually really easy to segment not only your clients as a user, but like you said, the example of Instagram, which lets you find people in your locality, or if it show now the Instagram algorithm shows you more people with maybe similar interests. So that's like the beauty of artificial intelligence. It does take your choices, your preferences, your interests into account, and it processes all of that information and it gives you suggestions accordingly. So, to answer your question, specifically towards social media, or how will Web3 in general evolve, after a certain amount of time, I think even Mark Zuckerberg's invention, like he's working on Meta, the metaverse. So that has also caught on to a lot of hype, right? So it's just like a miniature of reality. So if I had to compare that to Instagram, on Instagram we can see glimpses of people's life, whereas a metaverse is a whole new world on its own. That's
Mhm.
like evolution in itself. So I think social media will just get crazier and more innovative with
That's right.
Web3, and there are crazy
I
things
think
happening in the metaverse, right?
with it being more immersive with the tools that are coming, that say you can see another person in front of you with a hologram or something. So uh,
Right,
that kind of a immersive experience that will enable you, like in terms of say the content creators of the businesses, because the people are looking at a more personalized experience. Maybe they still feel disconnected, on a video call, say when they are talking, say to one of the favorite celebrity or something. But if compared that to if it's like, it seems that was, it's in person, right, and you can reach so many more people, so they would like to pay, because people now want to pay for more personalized experience than just something pre-recorded or with a device where it seems that
right.
person not there actually.
True, true.
that's that's right. So
On
I
those
think
lines,
that.
actually, on those lines, speaking a little bit more about the evolution of social media and the metaverse in general, like you've said that even when people interact with celebrities, they feel a little disconnected, or like, a selfie, an autograph, a call just does not have the same touch as it did before. But like, Web3 is making this experience so much more crazier and so much more personal. Like, there have been like these staggering cases of people getting married in the metaverse. You can now get married there legally, a contractual marriage. Or a very fun example was when Paris Hilton actually redesigned, like she animated her whole closet in the metaverse, and she let her fans raid the closet in the game Roblox. So if you play the game, you
Hmm.
can actually go to Paris Hilton's house and have a look at the kind of items she owns in her closet, and they were very closely replicated to the kind of clothing she actually owned. So that kind of experience, like that's the kind of experience that we'll be looking at with as and how more innovations progress in Web3.
That's right. Because I think that is related to the real estate that you can buy because it's a completely different virtual world. So
Right.
you people are buying real estate there. I think I've heard a lot of major celebrities are buying
Are buying
spending
land in
different.
the metaverse, right?
That's right. That's right. Awesome. Uh, we'll move to our next question, which is about then how marketing will evolve, will have to evolve in Web 3.0. How marketers can prepare. Read about it still within India also about the brands say they are buying certain, if you say NFT, or it's something related to metaverse, how it will change and all that being discussed at least, but I'm not know on the ground what would be happening as of now. But if you'd like to share something about the strategies for the same.
So, marketing strategies for the Web3. First off, any company that's trying to enter the Web3 space should have a clear understanding of what exactly Web3 is, or what exactly blockchain is, or what is the underlying technology behind all of these jargons and concepts. So, that's definitely step one. Other than that, we've already talked about what exactly, like, goes on in
Hmm.
Web3, or how the internet has evolved and stuff like that. But there are two very important things that marketers should remember when they are targeting, or when they're trying to enter the Web3 market, or if they're trying to put marketing and sales effort in the Web3 space. Number one is decentralization. Like I said, Web3 does not believe in a middleman. They do believe that whatever your efforts are should reach your audience directly. And number two is that Web3 happens to be extremely community driven. They give a lot of value to their, to their communities, to their audience. So these are the two things that should be at the heart of Web3 marketing. And in my personal experience, what I have noticed is that the most preferred channels for marketing for Web3 companies or in the Web3 space are Discord and Twitter. So again, like, and Discord and Twitter have completely different attributes if we compare them to like Instagram or Facebook. Their layouts are different. The features that they have to offer is different. The reach that an individual can get on these platforms is different. So for this, what we can do is we can split our efforts into two parts: acquisition and retention. So to acquire users, if I have to talk about ads per se, ad prices will become much cheaper in the Web3 because you don't have to go through like a third party system. So you're not paying extra to a broker or to a middleman. And with blockchain technology, you can actually further track consumer activities and offer personalized ads. So this means that purchases, our clients, or our, like whoever is interested in our product, can look at more relevant advertisements, which means like heightened chances of consumerism. So as a brand, that can definitely add a lot of value to you as well as your audience. And the second part would be retention, retaining your existing users or retaining your newly acquired users. So for this, what Web3 companies usually do is that they split their audience into structured lists, and they believe a lot in rewarding, their loyal consumers or their loyal clients. So we've seen a lot of whitelisting efforts where sometimes they send gifts to, like, their most valued clients or their most loyal clients, or they send airdrops of like digital assets, and more on those lines.
That's right. I think next we'll directly go to the NFTs, how they can be used in marketing.
Okay, so again, with a short explanation of what exactly is an NFT. So NFT stands for non-fungible token. And as the name suggests, it's non fungible. So if I had to talk about, say, a cryptocurrency like Bitcoin, if I exchange one Bitcoin for another, I'll have the exact same value. But if I exchange one NFT for another, the value might not be the same because NFTs are valued uniquely. So a major misconception that people have is that an NFT is just a picture, and we're used to hopping on trends, or we're used to looking at social media to get our information. So the most popular NFTs maybe people have seen on there are like the Bored Ape Yacht Club or Crypto Punks, Crypto Kitties, stuff like that. And people are often cynical about NFTs, saying that why would I pay like so much money for a pixelated image that's digital, so it's literally like copyable. But it's not that simple. NFTs could really be anything. It could be a picture, it could be a music sample, it could be a video, it could be a contract of a house, literally. It could be absolutely anything that's uniquely transferable. So, talking about how NFTs can be used in marketing, what companies can do is they can offer digital assets to their fans or to their clients that can be collected, traded, and sold. And we can create a community of fans or collectors around these efforts. So, a couple of examples on those lines. So, what's going on in the sports and the esports world right now is that a lot of games, soccer or football especially, is offering fan tokens. So let's say maybe you're a Barcelona supporter, or you're a Real Madrid supporter, you're a PSG supporter. What you can do is you can actually buy fan tokens of your clubs. So this gives two incentives to the users. One, it's a collectible, so it has a special, like a soft corner, a memory associated with it, as well as it's an investment. So you could later on, you could sell it, or you could exchange it, you could list it. There are multiple things you can do with this unique digital asset. In esports specifically, what a lot of gaming guilds do is that sometimes they reward their users with free character skins in the game. Any game has multiple in-app purchases, right? It could be anything. Like if you're playing something like maybe Fortnite, Call of Duty, you can either buy a character skin, you can buy more ammunition and stuff like that. So all of those features can be offered in the form of NFTs. So users can either buy them or they can be rewarded by them. A very, very interesting example that I came across was of the music festival Coachella. So Coachella is one of like the biggest music festivals in the world. And what Coachella did was they released 10 lifetime passes to the music festivals, which included perks like best seats in the house or VIP dinners, meeting the performing artists backstage, and stuff like that. So, first of all, already these passes have a lot of value because, again, by classic demand and supply, they're only 10 in number. So, it had everybody fighting for these passes immediately. And again, like if you're done, if you have constantly been visiting Coachella for 10 years and now you're like, okay, I think that's about it, you can sell this pass to someone else. So not only have you had your fair share of enjoyment, but it's also an investment for you that will pay you back after 10 years. Tons of other examples, like PepsiCo has also done it with their bottles. The Pepsi bottle has changed over the years. So they made out an NFT collection out of that. So a lot of brands are actually hopping on the trend. This is new, and this is something that the audience wants to see. So
Mhm.
a lot of brands have,
This would like,
tried
I
to
think,
inculcate it.
is coming under the loyalty aspect of in marketing, that I
Right,
think I'd covered this in relationship marketing, that most of it is this, that once you own that NFT, then it is more likely then you will go in for that like you had talked about, I think, that concert or something. So it could be something like, it's
right.
like a VIP in today's terms, it would be like a VIP pass or something, like some VIP access.
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
yeah, that would be, and plus the state, maybe you could sell this off. Then that is another benefit, right? That maybe you could sell it to someone else at a that is what it would be like a status symbol associated with that brand also. I'm having this NFT of this particular brand or this event or something like that.
Correct, absolutely. And that's just added PR for the company now, that because that's the thing, people will never stop talking about it because it's so, especially now that it's in trend, and it has innumerable benefits or innumerable opportunities associated with it. But again, like that being said, NFT marketing is still very, very nuanced. It's very
Hmm.
complicated, very capital intensive. So when you list any asset as an NFT, you need to pay something called as the gas fees in crypto to
Hmm.
to like identify that asset as an NFT, and the gas fees could be really high. So if you do not end up converting the NFT into a sale, that's just an added loss. So again, this is an effort that should be taken up by a company or
Hmm.
by any account client or individual that has experience or has extensive knowledge about the space and how things exactly work with NFTs.
That's right. And I think in the crypto space, the country is not that thing. I mean, the in terms of currency, it is a universal. So if you are buying it for someone in the US or somebody from India buys it, it's like kind of the same. It's not like the
It's
currency
the
thing does
same
not.
thing, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Absolutely, it's the same thing. Like that's how decentralization basically works. It's valid. You can use it anywhere around the world.
That's right. That's right. Awesome. Great. So one very important thing which came up and YouTube have put it out in their communication are the algorithm changes that have been there. One new thing came in the news that shorts will be monetized because earlier, I mean, when it came out, then shorts was used is also being used as a discovery platform basically. So you create long format content and through your short somebody can discover you who maybe is interested in the kind of content you are creating. Even a lot of subject matter experts are coming on, like even actors and doing short skits within in shorts so that they can get that reach and coverage. And most probably somebody you were not like kind of reaching out to or discovering with your shorts, it can, because the distribution is so much. Like if you compare the YouTube videos, the reach that is getting into a shorts, it's, I mean, like what, 10 times more. So one is the monetization aspect of it that was there, and the rest I think is within the short video only and with the watch hours or some aspects. So I think to elaborate on the same, I'll go to Ishwari. She'll also tell you how, as a content creator, what all things you can do so that you can optimize your reach with these changes that have taken place.
Right. So, speaking a little bit about how YouTube's algorithm has changed over the years, let's talk about let's talk about the very initial years, like say from 2005 to around 2011. So back then, what YouTube did was it basically optimized for clicks and views, but turns out that that isn't really a great metric because a lot of users, what happened to them was that they were a victim of clickbaits. Like there would be thumbnails and there would be titles of videos that said something, and that kind of content was not actually present in the video. So that left users with a very unsatisfactory experience. So YouTube realized that okay, maybe this isn't such a good metric. So 2012 onwards, they started optimizing for watch time instead. How long is a person watching a specific video? So and they came up with a theory that when people find videos valuable, they are more prone to watch it for longer or watch it to the end. So creators found a way to work their way around this algorithm as well. So two very interesting observations. What some creators did was
Okay.
they shortened the
I think
length
they
of
even
their video.
defined that at that time, maybe, 30 seconds is one view. I think that was not clearly defined earlier. It was maybe just when you come on and watch it for a second or so, you get a view. So they kind of defined that so that if there was like a clickbaiting happening, maybe that could be avoided in that. Like it doesn't count as a view, basically.
Right. So they actually they tried and tested a lot of efforts to figure out on if watch time could be like a good North Star matrix for them to
Hmm.
gauge, what people are liking and what they aren't. And like I said, content creators actually found their way to work around this as well. So what certain content creators did was that they reduced the duration of their videos. They made them extremely short and extremely catchy, so to make it look like users are watching it till the end. Whereas some creators made their videos extremely long to make it look like, people would release a 20-minute video, and if a user is still watching it for 8 minutes, that's good enough for them, right? That's still getting them their majority watch time. So again, given these incidents, YouTube came to a conclusion that time spent is not necessarily equivalent to quality time spent. So then they changed their algorithm a little bit more. Um, Quite recently, like say maybe 7 years back, from 2015 or 2016 ish, YouTube started optimizing for satisfaction instead. They introduced the not interested button. Along with that, they started looking out for their other CTA like shares, likes, or dislikes, and other any other call to action that YouTube had on its platform, and that those metrics kind of evolved into a little bit more. And talking about the present day scenario right now, what's most important for YouTube is that content is controversy free, it's hate free, and there have been a lot of content moderation issues coming up, a lot of policies around the same. So right now, what YouTube does is that it has actually moderated 70% of its content as of now. So they have made sure that any content that could be problematic is not promoted as much. So present day creators have to be extremely careful about the kind of speech they're using, or what exactly their content is around, because um, the severity that could affect your channel or your content is from maybe reduced reach right up to like demonetization or a strike. So that's something that content creators have to be really, really careful about. So, having explained the algorithm, a couple of strategies that content creators can use is that so the way that the YouTube algorithm altogether works right now is that it select viewers with a couple of goals in mind. So again, and basis extensive like market research, what we have found out is that videos are often watched together, and people are more prone to watch videos that are topically related. Like I don't know anyone who has watched one YouTube video and stopped. It's just that if you watch one video and if you like that, you do tend to watch a couple of more videos along with it. So again, tips for creators is that um, first would be that if you're making a video and say that does really well, or if you have a video that there are a lot of creators who made one video and then like shot to fame. So advice for them would be consider making a sequel for the video, or in general, content creators should put their videos into structured playlists so that your audience knows exactly what video to watch next. That's one thing. And second thing could be that a couple of more metrics that content creators should optimize for is the keywords, what the title of your video is, because that's what's going to make your content more clickable. Keywords, your thumbnail, these are things that you need to absolutely nail, because whether or not they are going to click on your video depends on these two very important factors. Another pro tip could be when you end your YouTube video, maybe you should end it with like an end screen that's a CTA to another video, or they could be like, here's what I did about something else, and you can go back to my channel, or you can click on the link somewhere around on the screen, and just an immediate CTA so that users know what to watch next, basically. And I think other generic examples would include cross promoting it on your social media, or linking it on your website or your blogs, and anywhere else on any other platform that you have presence on.
That's right. What would you suggest on like frequency of posting? Now I'll come, because let's talk about the what's possible. Like who are watching mostly would be maybe a subject matter expert that want to specialize in something, and they are like a content creator, maybe into HR, finance, or marketing, or sales, or something. So for them, in terms of what do you suggest? Firstly, in frequency of posting, and then from there, like how can they repurpose, because obviously there's a limit of how much original you can kind of create, because you have a full-time business also you're running of your. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So, talking about the frequency is the relevance of frequency comes from number one, what industry you're working in, and two, what is your brand voice? What kind of brand are you trying to identify as? So, if it's like an ed tech brand, I would say that, or if you're making content where you're teaching people something, like if you're teaching a course and all, I would say that maybe like say 2 videos a week is a good enough number, because like at the end of the day, if I'm looking at someone's videos, to learn something, then I do want a cool off period to kind of retain that knowledge or look back at my
Mhm.
notes maybe and stuff like that.
That is for, I
Uh,
think, for a very well researched video, concise about that topic, some concept or theory or a commentary on a very specific thing. Yeah, okay.
Right. So, if you're educating people through your content, then I think twice a week or
Mm.
something around that frequency is a good number. And again, pro tip for that is put your concepts into a playlist so that users know what to watch next. Like I do not want to keep going back to the channel and keep looking for where's the part 6 or the part 7. If you're a blogger, if you like you're an individual blogger who just talks about maybe lifestyle and
Mm.
the stuff that happens in your life and things like
Yeah.
that, then I think once a week or once in 15 days is a good amount of frequency. Because uh, here's the thing, like some brands or some people need to realize or need to make sure that they're not overdoing it. I don't want to see too many videos of the same thing over and over again, right? Because there's only so much you can offer to
Mm.
people, or there's only so much you can show them. So if it's
Mm.
like I feel like if I had to put it in two broad buckets, if it's like education related, if it's actionable content, if it's advice, like there are a lot of CAs these days who are giving like
Mm.
tax and investment advice on there are very detailed videos on how can you file your taxes and what should you know about your returns and all of that. So I think watching those kind of videos, like say once a week, once or twice a week, is like a good number. Whereas for all other brands that or like individuals on YouTube or content creators on YouTube whose content is not really educational and it's much more um, on a day-to-day basis, I think once a week or once in 15 days is a good like it's a good frequency.
That's right. Yeah, I think one, obviously I've noticed, say like you have a vlogger or something, so even they have once a week a video. Obviously they go to the place, they shoot it, they have to edit. There's so many things involved, and then obviously throughout they have the channel like your Insta. Even I think YouTube, you have stories and everything there. So you
Right.
that informal content that is going out there, the raw content, that I think has to be every day. That I'm talking in the stories format. Reels, though, I'm kind of with this update. Like I don't know, they are saying that you should post like at least two a day or something. So it's majorly about repurposing, right? So say your vlog that you made for your visit on say XYZ restaurant, that you can make like 4 5 reels out of that, right? So something interesting out
Right.
there you have to highlight, right? Or if you're an educational based one, so something topical you're talking about related to your content or something, that where you're tying it in, right? So that way, but 100% the effort will become more, because it's, again, I'm not sure, like because of the
Right.
competition as well as the frequency of usage and the platforms. So that is there, definitely the increased effort would be there for these subject matter, say content creators, because the more content they can put, the more it's actually getting to the particular user, the in terms, because they are rewarding frequency also. So you have to kind of do it. So like that's where it's like, I feel it's just kind of a skill. Like once you get into it, you can get faster at it also, like in creating a reel, or putting a short video in just your comment. Like a lot of people do it through stories or something, their view of a particular thing
Definitely. Yeah.
that is there. Yes, yes. Awesome. So we'll go to our next. Where is the, out of this all this content, we would like to obviously monetize it. A very common thing in a subject matter expert which they use is, they have these edtech sites. You have Udemy or Coursera and all, and you create a course and you upload it on. So they are not, obviously these sites also are more open in terms of that they are not paying you outright. So it is just like through that, like the sales that happens. So it'll be easier to get in into that than being like a faculty in the edtech player, where obviously there will be a lot of checks and balances in that getting in. That might be like a full time or like a part time faculty or something like that. So that is one obviously option for the subject matter creators, having your own site. Then through that, maybe you have your consultations happening. that can be monetized. So, but what other things can be used? Like, what are the innovations? So, I would like Ishwari to take us through that.
All right. So, speaking about Coursera a little bit, so here's the thing. One thing that can subject matter experts in specifically, if I have to talk about, can take into consideration is that they can offer a premium of their services. Like, I won't charge you outright. Maybe I'll give you two courses for free, and after that, I'll charge you. So it's very important to know when you need to monetize your content. If off the bat, if you start charging your users, or if you enter the space with like a money making mindset, chances are that the quality of your content will suffer. So you need to like get a steady traffic growth, maybe like look after your email list and make sure that it has reached your target number, your target figure that you have in mind, and then think about monetization efforts. So I think other opportunities or other things that subject matter experts in general can try is that they can try freelancing in their particular niche. So you can try freelance writing, or if you're a programmer, maybe you can take up freelance coding gigs. If you're a marketing enthusiast, maybe you can pick up some marketing efforts, like on a freelance basis for a couple of brands. If you have a contact list, you can be like, okay, maybe I'll put you in touch with my contacts and we can enter this sort of deal. So there are a lot of opportunities on a small scale that subject matter experts can try. Another point that you mentioned is that if you have your own website or your blog, the first thing that you should definitely focus on is the SEO. Before people pay for your content, you need to make sure that your content is reaching them, that they can see your website or that they can see your blog. So SEO is a very important factor. uh, other things, other efforts on the side you can do is maybe you can consider sending newsletters. uh, and you can make money off of that. It's actually not that tough to get revenue out of newsletters, because before there are a lot of other brands who want to put in ads in your newsletter, ads in your emails that you're sending across.
Hmm.
So loads of revenue streams there.
Yeah,
And
that you can maybe pitch yourself. Like if you are emerging, like the brands are not going to come to you, so you'll have to maybe talk about yourself in terms of the reach of your blog or your newsletter, and then take it from there.
Right, absolutely. Like you need to make efforts in approaching the brand. You need to ask them what they're looking for. Maybe cater yourself a little bit to fit their needs a little bit better, and let them know that this is my expertise and this is what I can do for you. And one step at a time. Maybe the first time around they'll ask you to write a blog for them, or they'll ask you to make a video for them. And next thing you know, you could be like on a retainer basis. I've seen a lot of freelance opportunities convert into proper full-time roles, and people have
Mm.
not only made money out of it, but they've made whole and soul careers out of it. So that is always that's always a way in which you can enter this, in which subject matter experts can essentially monetize their skills.
That's right. So we'll go to the next. So what are the new tech innovations? So say the last 15 years, how the digital ecosystem has evolved. Things have become more, you can say personalized, because with the data you can kind of identify certain things, there are triggers and all, and you can put off a lot of person. Like it started off, obviously the most basic thing was in your email content that the name was given. Even we use tools, say on LinkedIn messaging or something, there are softwares wherein you can take out things from their profile and mention it within your messaging, or you can kind of segment those users as per certain things, like the location, and like on LinkedIn it is, say, the size of the company, uh, the kind of industry they are in, say how even frequently they are active on the platform. And also there are so many things within personalization. All the platforms are putting in efforts to increase the same, so that they are more when they are selling their tools for advertising or whatever messaging marketing tools, so it has more impact. So to shed more light on it, I'll go to Ishwari.
So, Nikhil, as you said, basically, a lot of personalization has come into the picture, especially when a brand, when it mentions your name in the form of any way, they could send you an email with your name in it or a notification with your name in it. It's very, very likely to grab your attention, right? Because you want to know that, okay, here's my name. So that's something that makes you click on it, and it takes you to a completely different landing page, and that's what the brand wants at the end of the day. They want you to be attracted to their website or their app, and it takes you out of wherever you are. I think that's possible today because of AI powered personalization. We have so much data, we have like a plethora of data, and thanks to the beauty of AI, consumers can now, before, if I have to talk about any app in general, the first thing that it's going to ask you is maybe your name. Then it might ask you your location, your email address, and stuff like that. Extremely basic information.
Hmm.
And what brands have done with this basic information is crazy today. So, a very simple example that I want to give is maybe of Zomato or Swiggy. What they do is they send you a notification with your name in it, and they actually have they say some really interesting things. Like, it makes you feel like it's not a bot. Maybe it's like a person talking to you. So you could get like a notification saying, "Hey Ishwari, are you hungry?" And I'll just be like, "Yeah, thank you, I was." And then I'll click on the notification, and now I'm on the app, and I do end up ordering food. So there's a lot of so this is where personalization has reached. It's not just standard like emails with your names where you have to go to your inbox and click on an email. Brands have very smartly actually changed their user experience for a small screen, for like a phone screen. So I think that's where personalization has reached today. Another very interesting example could probably be of Mintra. What Mintra does is that if you're shopping and if you've added certain items to your cart but you don't end up buying them, Mintra will send you a notification saying that, hey, we noticed that you have a couple of items in your cart and you haven't bought them. Make sure you buy them soon. Our sale is getting over and all. So that's like a reminder. That's a very smart reminder for you to go back and convert your interests into a sale. So that's where personalization has reached. And I feel like present day brands do stress a lot on the importance of customer loyalty and rewarding their users. So personalization could also be a really good tool on that
That's
front.
right. So with the, I think with the tech innovations, are they on a platform? Say you are, a member of Amazon and all. I have noticed it definitely where it when I ask someone else, so I might have spent, lakhs of rupees within Amazon. It's been there for so many years and bought a lot of products. So in terms of the customer servicing, like if I am kind of, I even returned one maybe which was not a returnable product. There was some issue in that. So when I asked this to one of my colleagues who was, or my friends who was kind of using this, just recently started, has an account within that Amazon or something. So he said they didn't get that. So it's something like they are identifying who are, how much the volume of business they are getting, especially from a particular, even somebody who is not returning. So it's a good customer, basically not having a lot of returns. So they are this have even noticed on Uber where they give you a free upgrade, right, for in terms of
Right.
the cab, and also on Make My Trip that they will give you a better room or something when you actually achieve because of how much. So is the analysis of that data actually uh, in the back end that the it's getting stronger, and then the marketers have to create a kind of a segment within that these kind of users will be rewarded as per this, and also that way. So in this Ishwari, like how does the tech and the marketers role come in when you're having these kind of what we talked about now? How do they kind of work together to get this done actually?
So here's the thing, like you said, we have so much data right now,
Yeah.
and it's very interesting to see where and how this data goes. Like, you could make one click, so you could make three clicks, and that will always mean something to Amazon. It's constantly adding you to a new list, and all of
Hmm.
these lists are segmented by whatever, by names or by a score, and that tells you where exactly, which bucket do I have to put this customer in, and
Hmm.
that's how they might decide their rewards, or maybe they will make some of their policies more flexible towards you. So there are a lot of
Hmm.
actually if I had to talk about where exactly does marketing meet tech. So there are a lot of evolving companies, a lot of evolving startups which specialize in making dashboards or making specific CRMs that gives you that kind of data about your consumer. So
Hmm.
as a marketer who's maybe whose tech is maybe not that strong, what I would prefer is that I would outsource it from someone who will organize all of this data for me and explain it to me in layman terms. At the end of the day, what I
Hmm.
want to see is that, okay, who are my top 10 best customers? And I'll leave the headache to, like, whoever is managing my CRM. What are the metrics on which these best customers will be defined? So that's something that I would rely on them. So I feel like that's where marketing and tech sort of like cross paths. At the end of the day, it's just that. So, like, there's a lot of data, and to understand how to utilize this data and then to make decisions basis off of it is something that uh, is basically where, marketing and tech can collaborate their roles.
That's right. So the next topic would be about the brand advocate. So we also not only with major brands, even when we are on social media, we see people who kind of support us and who talk positively about us in on our content in terms of commenting and liking and also on a little bit of a mass scale when you reach a little bit more popularity in that I the question is more is that how do you identify these guys, the brand advocates firstly, and then how do you kind of utilize them, like how can you kind of incentivize them so that they put already more efforts and then they can kind of grow your reach or your spread the word more about you.
Understood. Okay. So, a very basic thing to do would be to like just check for maybe regular mentions of your brand on your social media, look out for interactions, check what kind of people are commenting the most on your posts, your videos, be it anywhere on Instagram or on Twitter. And what you
Hmm.
can do is you can segregate these users. You can be mindful of who they are. You can put them in a separate list,
Hmm.
and maybe you can have a completely
Hmm.
different conversation with them. You can let them know that we noticed you were doing this.
I think their
So,
hashtags would also come in the say you are creating a certain content like we have this series. So when you have an hashtag for it, you know if someone else is also talking about the content you have. Maybe they have not tagged you, but they are in that conversation.
great. Yeah, I think the hashtag game, Twitter does it really well. There are certain specific hashtags that literally a brand can associate with themselves. So I found out about this when I started experimenting with Twitter Spaces a little bit. And Twitter Spaces actually lets you ask questions, or it lets you identify your brand basis your hashtag. So hashtags on Twitter are extremely unique as compared to any other app out there. So definitely the hashtag game is something that I haven't fully figured out myself, but again, learning more about it every day. So other than that, I feel like to identify and reward your brand advocates, what you can do is you can befriend them first of all, like uh, on like a very on like a surface level. You can maybe send them emails, or you can send them gifts, or you can invite them to certain events that you're hosting, and you can let them know that, like,
Yeah,
uh, we know that, like, you're advocating for us, we have noticed you. So that's definitely going to push
that's
them
great.
more
I
towards.
think first thing would be the referral thing that you push on them. That's you have obviously been talking about us positively, so we like to now incentivize that a little bit. You can refer us and earn the on this thing. So that would I think will start with off. Then you can go more deeper into like what you were mentioning.
Right. All right. So, on referrals, actually, this is something I've seen most on Instagram is that if there are a couple of influencers or just people in general who are talking about a certain kind of product, especially like, skincare, hair care, apparel related, and if a brand notices it, what it does, it puts their name in the referral code. So
Hmm.
if I have been advocating for, let's say, Mama Earth, what Mama Earth is going to do as a first step is that it's going to give me a referral code with my name in it. That will probably have, like, say,
Hmm.
Ishwari 30. And if you use this code, you'll get 30% off. So that's
Hmm.
added sales for them. Plus, I am getting as a user, I am getting their benefits separately. So
Hmm.
I think that's what we were talking about, right? The referral
That's right. That
initiative.
first thing, yeah, with the referral code, you are identifying that person who is also to the audience. A brand advocate has to have a bit of influence in it. If you are not having a little bit, a bit of following and people listening to an engaged audience, then you can't, be in the category. So for the brand, they would give that referral code to you. They identified you, and then there are obviously other ways where you have affiliate and all, but that is when you yourself are going in for it. Here is the brand is identifying you as an advocate and then pushing it on.
Right. And actually, a very another thing I would want to mention is that I read this Forbes article that actually says that instead of pushing your advocates to advertise for you, what you can have them is you can have them review your product or your service. Again, this is going to do two things. One, they get their opportunity to give an honest review about your product and service, and now uh, so now that they're doing it on their personal channel, you can leverage their audience as well along with your existing audience, so you get to showcase your product, you get to showcase your brand to this advocates audience. And second, now that their audience knows a little bit more about your product, and if they have an honest review and honest feedback, that just increases their faith in your brand or your product. So that's two birds and one stone. So
That's right. And you can even invite them. So generally the brands, when they're having these events, they are calling the influencers to, popularize it and cover the event. Here, I think even you can look at the brand advocates, which would be kind of a little bit more nano level influencers, and push it, because there, again, there are much more of them, obviously, and there would be a case where they can push it to their own very loyal audience. Awesome. So we'll go to our next. So branded content, obviously, when we talk about it, we see huge content being created, like a mini web series, or we've seen a show with like a celebrity happening, which is especially created for that particular what that brands stands for, or something that would appeal to their TG in terms of the content. But for SMEs, what all options is there? Because now they, like, everyone out there is like a content creator, right? So what all opportunities are there for the smaller level content creators where you can create branded content is there with the as an SME? So to cover the same, I'll go to Ishwari.
So, what I have noticed is a couple of big brands like Amazon, or more more lifestyle oriented brands. They actually have programs. They have tailored programs for content creators where they onboard a certain number of say nano influencers or micro influencers, and what they do is they teach you, they train you on exactly what you're supposed to do, and then you can go out and put out content for them. And I think these days Instagram has a policy, like if it's a brand, if if it's branded content, then it has to be marked as an ad, or it has to be marked as
Hmm.
that this is not something that I've been posting naturally, it's a sponsorship or it's an ad or it's a collaboration. So that's something that I have seen a lot. For SMEs, again, I think it's a little bit, it's a tricky space because branded content would mean that it's a paid effort. So what I would usually suggest for like brands that are growing is that maybe they should try to focus on organically growing as much as they can, and once they have crossed their threshold number, then they can be looking at branded content. And then when they have that kind of budget, or when they are ready for that kind of attention, then they can start looking at how to tailor their efforts towards branded content.
That's right. Here, I think I would suggest for the content creators also that they can suggest these SMEs that you have a certain kind of content programming that is there, and that how that can appeal to their TG. So you can then kind of something can be kind of worked out in terms of a program for that, because I'm seeing these many like webinars and all, they are being sponsored by that. You have somebody who is expert in personal finance, and he is being this thing by a startup which we don't know about. That's just some it could be like a finance tool or something, right? So I've seen quite few that, and I'm 100% sure the content creator would have, or the marketing person within that startup had gone to them, and it was like done. They had taken that initiative in that. So I think there are quite a few. I don't think it's being utilized that much, but there is a lot of scope. Like as a person
Absolutely, yeah.
marketing it or the content creator, you have to kind of take the initiative in this case. Awesome. And the last question today is for LinkedIn content creators. I think LinkedIn now, just a few months back, they started monetizing the content creators who are kind of regular. I think earlier there was no way the content was directly monetized on LinkedIn. So you would give tips. Obviously, LinkedIn not only for that monetization aspect, also as a freelancer, or you are a top management of a company, you are posting on LinkedIn to build that credibility within your TG. So I would want to ask you what kind of tips you have for them in terms of their posting on the same.
So for LinkedIn, what I have noticed is that uh, sincere efforts will get you a crazy amount of growth in a very short period of time. So if you religiously write one post every day about whatever your expertise is, it could be as simple as your experience maybe in a workplace, or your experience in a certain kind of working environment, or it could be from tips and tricks about something that maybe lies in your expertise, or something that you just experience that you would like to share with your connections. Anything, the post could be absolutely anything. But if you write daily, people are more likely to connect with you, they're more likely to follow you. And so here's the thing about LinkedIn, right? If our connections like or share a certain kind of post, we get to see it on our feeds as well. So the more number
Yeah.
of people that are interacting with your posts by liking, or now LinkedIn has react features. You can funny react, and you have the
Hmm.
curious emoji, you have the celebrate, react, and stuff like that. So again, those are some really like interesting features that. So if anybody does use any of these interactive elements, their connections are also updated about your post. So that's like increasing your reach by tenfold. So I think tip number one would be to consistently write every day. Uh, what kind of content should you write about? As I said before, it could either be something that's related to your maybe your professional journey, whatever you have been through as a professional. How did you start your career? How did you land in a certain company or in a certain working environment? Or if you have your own startup, so this is something that I actually tell a lot of startup founders, is that instead of targeting reach through your company page, as a startup founder, you already have a lot of connections. So instead of making your company page do the work for you, you should advocate your company and your brand through your personal LinkedIn profile, because that is much more likely to give you the kind of reach that you're looking for. So content wise, and I think the third point would be that your content should be actionable. People, after reading your post, people should feel that okay, this was interesting, or it added some kind of value to my day to day. It could be anything, like maybe you could do, if I so I am personally more interested in finance. So if maybe if somebody gave me like a market breakdown, or like this was the market in the past week, that would help me a lot to make my next few investment decisions, or to figure out what do I want to do with my portfolio, or what else should I be prepared for, something like that. Or if there's someone who's giving me like career guidance tips, like also if you have an interview in the next 30 days, these are the things you should do over the course of 30 days. So actionable content that makes people learn and take something out of it does really well. And other than that, few LinkedIn metrics to work around are the hashtags. Good practice is, if you're mentioning a brand, always tag their page, tag their company page, because that sends them a notification that updates you. Um, and make sure that any comments that you're getting, interact with your comments. And yeah, I guess that's common to like most platforms on the internet.
That's right. Also, I mean, as a on LinkedIn, in terms of being active on the platform, it's kind of it's not about, I mean, a reach or something for your particular. It is more like people look you up. Like today, if you're offering some kind of service, like even if you're full-time job, prospective employer will look up your whole feed. So the that is important, like what you are actually posting. I think you should focus on quality, unless you are in that space that you are like a complete content creator, and you have to grow and all. That is a different thing. But I would say everyone should kind of look at what they can bring. So it is two three cat what I always say, that educative, informative, or entertaining. So you can go along. And I've seen people in, huge founders also of very successful. They are very like they'll have humorous posts also, and also you can bring your own personality into it. It doesn't have to be, because LinkedIn, there's a perception
Right.
of that very serious platform, so that is kind of not necessary. So if it's part of a personality to be humorous or take a funny take on it, you can do the same. Also, in terms of engagement, obviously, if you are commenting on other posts and all that, would so there is a strategy where you like wherever you're working in that, like say you are into finance or finance related content, when you're hashtagging it, you can see the post there and you can comment, because obviously the in the feed what will come are the more popular posts in that. So it'll help in your kind of a discoverability also. So quite a few things. And then I think the featured section that you can work on, in terms of what is the first thing people see on your profile. And in terms of your I would say connections of followers, uh, you can kind of have like I've seen a lot of LinkedIn guys, they are having meetups or this thing. So you can look at that aspect also of it. There has to be something for the followers to, you're bringing them together. That aspect as a content creator, that is also very attractive for, or being part of like a collaboration or something that you're doing. You have to give something. It can't be like you are like a broadcasting site or something like. So awesome. Great. So I think we are done with this particular. It's been a great session. That is, I think we covered a lot of things in Web 3.0 and all that. Some many tech aspects within marketing as well. Also for, I think we covered some for content creators also. So Ishwari, so how has been the experience in coming on this particular session for you?
It's been great, honestly, and I want to extend a huge thank you to you for letting me be a part of this session. Honestly, I myself learned a lot, like, answering these questions, and there are just so many details here, and there's so many minute details that we think that won't make a difference, but it is the little things that does make all the difference. And to be quite candid, it can save you a lot of money as a brand. So definitely a lot of things that loads of learning today. A lot of things I have personally learned, and again, thanks a lot for letting me express my views and my opinions and my takes on these topics.
Definitely, it's been great having you on. Also, like your in terms of your content that you are putting on LinkedIn, uh, like in terms of that, like you can talk a little bit, like what kind of people you want to kind of follow you and be part of your community.
To be quite honest with you, I'm a final year college student, so I'm hoping a lot of recruiters are looking at my content.
Exactly.
So I write about, so as I said, I'm still learning about a lot of things, especially like maybe finance or like consulting industry related stuff that. So those are the kind of things I like to write about. If I see something new going on, or if I see something that's new in the news that excites me, that interests me, I write about analogies. My main focus through my content is to make a person understand complicated topics in a very, very simple way. Something that's jargon free, not too complicated, not too technical. And again, that's something that's actionable, something that, so usually my process of writing is I learn about the topic myself and then I put it into writing. I've always believed that writing helps me structure my thoughts. So it's really something I do for myself, but I think over the years I've gained the confidence to put it out on a platform. So Those are the couple of things that I keep in mind, and uh, like that's basically the kind of audience that I'm trying to target.
That's right. So thanks a lot, Ishwari, for joining us again, and I'll see you later. Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thank you, thank you.
Awesome. And to the audience out there, thanks for joining. It's been, I think, a great series, the types of marketing series. So this was the finale of it. It's been great. So any kind of doubts regarding series or anything, you can DM me and all. I can definitely answer your queries on that. If you want to work with me, definitely you can go to my Linktree link on the top right. You can scan that barcode and go to that, and we can get connected and we can start working together. So thanks a lot. Thanks for your time. I'll see you. Take care.